everybody. I'm Dr. Jeffrey E. Berger, and welcome to Season 3 of the Holistic True Wealth series in collaboration with Mupo TV, part of Mupo Entertainment. I am the CEO and founder of Abundance and Optimum Wellness and a certified holistic coach, and I am of the belief that we all should be living a life of abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And as a certified holistic coach, today I am taking a finance-first approach to achieving all-encompassing personal well-being by embracing new ways to true wealth in the modern world. And by exploring diverse paths, opens the doors to true wealth in every sense. And today we're facing a paradigm shift like none other that is revolutionizing our futures in ways that are unprecedented. And to remain stagnant is to be left behind. My mission goes beyond business by providing global-minded entrepreneurs and individuals with new ways to true wealth in the modern world so they can circumvent our broken systems and go from financial fatigue to financial freedom. And it's about creating opportunities, providing access, and building a more inclusive and supportive digital world where everyone has the chance to thrive. True wealth is not only about money. It's about having the tools and the resources allowing you to create a life to live an abundance in optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Myself, my special guests are all about bringing awareness around alternative solutions from all aspects, leading you towards the path to overall true wealth. And the mission, provide real solutions for real people who are serious about wanting to go from barely surviving to thriving again. So before I bring on today's very special guest, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You can find this interview series in collaboration with Mupo Entertainment at mupotv.com, or you can download the Android or the iOS app. We're seen in 144 countries, Fire TV, Roku, and Vimeo. And we are in discussions with Paramount and HBO for a possible collaboration. So with that, we're going to take this short commercial break, and we will be right back. Okay, we are back, and today joining us all the way from County Cork, Ireland, is Michelle A. Hardwick. And with over 25 years in health practice, Michelle specializes in guiding individuals and couples through menopause and major life transitions from compassion and expertise. She's a creator of bespoke evidence-based wellness solutions as she tailors each approach to the unique physical, emotional, and relational needs of her clients. And as a menopause advocate and relationship guide, Michelle really helps both women and their partners transform menopause from a challenge into a shared opportunity for growth. And she is a globally recognized practitioner supporting clients worldwide through virtual consultations and in-person sessions from her base near Cork, Ireland. And finally, as the founder of Menopause Wingman, Michelle brings understanding between men and women, empowering communication, empathy, and holistic well-being beyond the change. So welcome today, Michelle, to the show.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for inviting me, and also a big hi to all of your viewers as well.
Thank you. Thank you. So before we get started and jump into the questions, I always love asking my guests, what and Michelle, so what do you do outside of your business? What are some of your special loves that you love to embrace outside of business, because we always want to have that balance between work and life?
Well, the previous advertisement with the dancing blue man is me in the kitchen when I'm baking and when I'm cooking. I absolutely love baking and cooking. So I would be having 60s, 70s, 80s tunes on the player, and I'd be dancing away just like the blue man. So that's one of the things I love doing. Love anything with the arts, movies, books, art. What also I like to do, particularly because I'm in Ireland and I'm very privileged to live here, is I would spend some time offline as well over the weekends, and I would be in nature, in the ancient forests that we have here, and in County Cork in particular. There's loads of stone circles. They're dotted around Ireland anyway, but I would be spending time in the stone circles, on the beaches with my husband and our beloved rescue dog, Keela. So that's kind of, and I love cooking, so I love entertaining, and I just love having meaningful conversations around good food, catching up with friends, quality time. That's kind of what I'm all about. So I would be seeing clients through the week. So it's a chance for me to come offline, as you mentioned, to be balanced, to have balance.
Right.
So to come away from anything technological and just really ground, be connected, and just enjoy nature and enjoy the people who I love, family.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. That's wonderful. So that definitely is a balanced lifestyle for sure, because so many are out there just working, 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 and
Absolutely.
they need to start
Yeah.
creating that balance. So, and that was me a long time ago. So I'm getting
Right.
much better at it now these days. But let's start out with what really inspired you to create Menopause Wingman, and then focus on helping men better understand and support women through menopause.
Well, it was a chance meeting, although I wouldn't call it chance. It was a speed networking event,
Mm,
and I was in a room with two other people, one who is now my publisher, and the other person was a guy called Richard. And I had explained about what I do in terms of helping men and women transition through the tricky waters of menopause. And he just said, you should write a book for men about the menopause. If I'd had that, I might have navigated it. We might still be together. And so that was for me a light bulb moment in terms of we actually do need to support our men folk, bring them in with us on the journey,
right.
rather than being separate and navigating this alone. So that was really, it was pivotal in that event, was to actually make me think about the other side of the coin, not just what I'd been going through, but what our beloveds go through alongside us, through the menopause.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, obviously, it's a life changing, event for both, for men and women, but more so obviously for women. And
Yes,
sometimes I wonder too, with all of the changes of our foods and the pharmaceuticals, how
yes,
much that has really impacted the severeness of women going through menopause, because um, it's just a devastating thing, and I can't imagine what the women went through hundreds to 200s to 300 years ago. Was it more of a better transition outside of all these chemicals that people are being ingested with? So
I think so, Jeff. I think part of it is that there's a lot more additives and preservatives in the food. So we have mass production of food now. So we, in the past, we would live, say, 10 miles from the food source that we would
right.
be ingesting. Whereas
Yeah.
now, we've got blueberries coming from Chile, and no problem with that. But it's just that it's not really in our local sort of backyard. And I think that does have a massive impact on our hormones, even
Right.
early on in life.
Sure.
And we're seeing women starting perimenopause in their 30s, not,
Wow.
yeah. And if they have a medical induced menopause, it could be anywhere from the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
And yes, it was something that happened more in our 50s and 60s. So
Right.
absolutely, the food and the environment, the air, the water. So there's a lot more pollution now. So I think the symptoms are a lot more intense. And then if you add the, like, I wasn't told when I took the when I took the birth control pill in my 20s, that that would actually bring my menopause on. So I started in my 40s. I had another chance encounter with someone in Hong Kong who then pushed it back through Chinese medicine, pushed it back another 5 years, and I began at 45. But I had no clue myself that I was actually, I thought it was jet lag because I was traveling in Asia 3 months and then back to Europe 3 months and then back to Asia teaching.
Right.
I had no clue. And the first thing that hit me when he said, "Oh, no, it's far too soon for you to have menopause," I was like, that happens to old women. I'm not an old woman. So shock and surprise and horror and grief and everything kind of rolled up into one. So I think you're right. I think the environment is creating more issues. And thankfully, there's a bit more information about the menopause now. But what I found with talking with men is they are not equipped. They don't have the information. They're not aware. And they're thinking, who the hell is this woman that I'm living with now? Who once used to be so pleasing. And, because when our estrogen levels drop, our people-pleasing tendencies go out the window. So then we're more irritable, we're moody, we've got all this other stuff going on, as well as the physical changes, the emotional changes, which is what I focus on. And then, the spiritual changes as we transition from woman to crone, if you like, to the wise woman phase. So we've got all these transitions that we are trying to get our heads around. And then you've got men in the mix going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Do I stay quiet? Do I say something? Should I just work longer hours so I'm not at home, when this kicks off?
You're in a catch-22 situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how do you think that the lack of conversation around menopause impacts relationships, both emotionally as well as physically?
That's a really good question. I think women are often silent, and so that can impact the relationship because, of course, there's going to be misunderstandings. So that then leads to men being really confused and also feeling rejected. And women, of course, then feel alone, abandoned. They're in this on their own, that they're struggling with all these other things. And so I think the silence is key, that, women struggle also with the intimacy aspect as well. It's 50% of women really struggle to be intimate because there's so much pain, but they don't talk about it. So I think communication is the foundation, really.
Right.
Navigating this, to open up, to be vulnerable, and to say, I don't know what to do, but I can see that you're struggling. Do you want a hug? Do you want me to hold your hand, or do you want some space? Just asking the questions and communicating, really. And I think when the communication doesn't happen, then both partners lose out.
Yeah, no, communication is key to anything.
It is. It is.
And it's very, very critical, and it should be taught at an earlier age, not to hold back and stuff like that. So
Agreed.
Yeah, so we're coming up halfway between the show here. We're going to take another short commercial break, and as I mentioned, I am I'm leading with a finance first approach to encompassing overall well-being, and I am focusing on financial wellness, bringing awareness to individuals out there about the technologies of today. They've started to change the future. Just like Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, and Amazon decades ago when they introduced their technologies, look at where they are today. That's where we are today with blockchain technologies. So we'll be right back with Michelle
Texic Coin is the future of money in Texas. Texic Coin is a fast, Layer 1 digital currency designed for generations of honest trade. In many ways, Texic Coin is like Bitcoin. It uses blockchain technology, the decentralized public ledger, to record transactions. Texic Coin makes it easy for anyone to participate in the digital economy. Like Bitcoin, Texic Coin can be traded for other cryptocurrencies or cash. But unlike Bitcoin and other leading cryptos, Texic Coin can only be digitally mined in Texas. Join us as we build the world's largest decentralized cryptocurrency mine. Put control of crypto back in the hands of individuals and away from mega corporations, banks, and foreign nations. With Texic Coin, we can leave the world a better place for our children and future generations.
Okay, we are back, and I just do want to add a side note to that commercial. Yes, the cryptocurrency is mined in Texas. However, it is open globally to those who are interested in becoming miners. And I'm not going to get into that now, but I'll share some information at the end. For those that are interested, they can reach out to me. But let's get back to Michelle A. Hardwick here, the menopause lady from Ireland. So from your research and advocacy, what are the top 3 misconceptions society still holds around menopause?
Well, firstly, that it only affects older women. I'd say that would be one of the key things, and men can also, if they go through chemo, they can also have hot flushes and hot flashes. So, I think that it only affects older women is one of the key things. And I think, as we talked about, perimenopause can be 30s, 40s, 50s, when we start to move into that sort of challenging, if you like, life experience.
Sure.
Secondly, that also it's just about hot flushes and hot flashes. That's it. But actually, we experience up to 60 plus different symptoms, and no 2 women are the same.
Right.
No 2 women have the same symptoms. Some can die away very quickly, and those symptoms I'm talking about. So therefore, they transition really quickly, and then others can last a long time. I know a lady who's 87, and she still gets hot flashes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, this isn't just about hot flashes. There's so many other things. And I guess if we're looking at that, libido is affected. So our connection is affected. We've got mood that's really affected. So we can go up and down all over the place.
Yeah.
We've got sleep that gets affected. So if she doesn't sleep, you don't sleep because she's tossing and turning all through the night. And then you've also got stomach issues as well. So I struggled with my digestion as I went through it. So certain things I couldn't digest anymore. So there's a whole plethora of different things that are happening at the same time while you're trying to get used to what's going on. And then the other thing that I found with many men as I talked with them is their belief was stay quiet, just put your head under the parapet, and just don't say anything. But I think silence kills the relationship. As we talked about with the last question, you really need to communicate. And the menopause is a stress test for your relationship.
Sure.
And if you navigate it, and that's what the book is about. It's about giving them the tools and the techniques, the methods on how to navigate it. You will come out the other side with a stronger relationship. But if you don't, you can't go through this situation without changing. You can't go through the menopause without both of you changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
you perfectly stated the tools and the resources, and that's what I said earlier in the introduction. It's being able to provide the tools and the resources for those that do want to change their lives. And I always say women go through menopause and men go through woman pause. So that's what I say over here in the U.S. But what roles do empathy and education play in building stronger relationships during menopause that you have found?
Absolutely vital roles. And in fact, they're inseparable. Most of the men that I spoke to lamented that they didn't know anything about it and were challenged and were saying, educate yourself, learn more about it before it happens. So I think they really are, and I think that's where the book is, to kind of bring in that level of compassion and understanding, and then educate as well, because I feel you can't have empathy unless you have understanding.
Right. No, I
Once
agree
you
with
have
that.
understanding,
Yeah.
everything falls into place. So I guess what that does is it makes, once the person is educated, when the guy is educated, or the woman, if it's a female relationship, that person stops becoming a bystander where it's your issue to actually being a wingman, to being part of it. So that's where that bridge needs to happen, with compassion and education and
No.
empathy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I relate this to, and I don't have a wife, but I relate this in my own background with regards to being a holistic coach and learning about all that's out there, is that, women, as they age, their estrogen levels go down. As
Correct.
men age, their testosterone levels go down. So it's that mirrored effect on both sides,
Yes.
So, and it's a matter of, again, what are the tools and the resources that we can look at that will help get over that, or even make changes. So, because you should have, decent estrogen and testosterone into your 60s and 70s, and have an active, sex life.
Yes.
And but that's not happening, as we talked earlier about the foods and the pharmaceuticals and the air that we're breathing, the water that we're drinking, all those chemicals that are getting in there and just destroying our hormones.
That's right. And as you know, our hormones control everything. So when
Yes.
that's out of balance, everything is out of balance. Coming back to what we talked about in the beginning, balance is key. And so
Right.
there are foods that you can be eating. There are supplements. Some women choose to go through the HRT journey. Others are looking at bioidentical, so more of a less chemical, more synthetic, which is more in alignment. So there are lots of options out there.
Sure.
And you touched on that earlier, Jeffrey, about, I remember my mother going through it. Nobody ever mentioned the word menopause.
Right.
You would just say, is it hot in here or is it me? And we'd be like, yeah, it's you, And my sister's only advice was, don't go to bed on an empty stomach and have a rest in the afternoon. That was it. We had no clue. And even so, men are struggling beside us to make this journey and make this transition.
Exactly. So down in the band, we're coming up to the half hour here. So in the scrolling banner is Michelle's website. And where else can they reach out to you? Well, I see you have, it's Menopause. And I think
Wingman. Yeah, menopausewingman.com. So on that website, menopausewingman.com, there are 6 questions that men can answer in terms of their experience. And that can be part of the book, because we're just completing now. Hopefully it'll be printed next month. So the window is still open. If men want to add their voices, then please do jump on the website and answer those 6 questions. That's
awesome.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Jeffrey.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. So if there was one nugget, one piece of advice that you could provide one or more of our viewers who are really just sick and tired of being sick and tired, looking for that glimmer of hope. It's always that hope. And I found that hope back in 2018.
Wonderful.
So wanting that hope to improve their health, what would that be?
I would say they don't have to suffer in silence. Neither partner has to suffer in silence. That they're not alone. They can reach out. I think support is necessary as you go through this journey. You cannot do it alone. It's not a DIY menopause thing. You have to get support, both of you. What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. And we touched on it in terms of the communication.
Yes.
Sit down without your phone and be present and ask, how are you really doing? open the conversation up.
Right.
And ask. Maybe that is just to hold a hand, go away from, anything technological, go out in nature if you can, and just find out. And listen, don't try to fix, don't try to offer solutions. Breathe, be present, and remember, this is the woman that you chose for your journey, or the man that you chose for your journey. And be present, be compassionate, be empathetic. So definitely check in, know that you're not alone, and there is support out there, and you don't have to stay in silence.
Super. Well, Michelle, I can't thank you enough for joining us all the way from Ireland, across the pond, as we say here, and sharing your nuggets. And please follow up with Michelle and check out her website, and check out both of her websites, and look at the book that is going to be released potentially next month. But for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more about the technologies of today that are changing the world, I do hold monthly webinars, and this is all about the future of True Wealth, the digital revolution. And True Wealth, again, is not only about money, it's about me providing the tools and the resources, allowing you to create a lifestyle to live in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And we are in a paradigm shift, as I said earlier today, like none other before. And things are growing at an exponential rate versus 20 to 40 years ago. Things are expanding like you would not believe. And again, so for those who are, remain stagnant, you will be left behind. And I'm encouraging people to embrace this and get educated. So with that, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you the next time.
You thought I was playing?